other kind of religions. So beef is the major issue here. So because cow is regarded as the god in India, and it is sacred, so the beef cannot be served on the table. And also for the Muslims, they cannot eat pork, like the previous the groups have mentioned. So any product that contains the beef and the pork cannot make the pass into the Indian market. So the second is the perceptions the Indians towards the U.S. culture. So the Indian culture is welcome. It has always welcomed the Western culture and try to absorb it into the Indian culture itself. Like the Indian young people, they follow the trends of the U.S. and also they keep going for the trend of the product and of the Western cultures. So here the problem is for McDonald's is to change the world popular hamburger and to make an entry into the Indian market. So this is my part, and welcome Shannon.
Okay, so basically how did they end up preparing for this expansion? So prior to them opening their first shop in India in 1996, they, some locations within the London Southall area introduced a veggie burger that they ended up finding was quite successful. And so basically this area of London is a heavy Asian populated or Indian populated community, and they thought that this would be a very good small sample size to be able to see if this would actually work well within India when they were to move there. Also, 5 years before their expansion into India, they also, or McDonald's came in and also met with a lot of local farmers and just local people in general to try to build a network there so that they were able to have all of their, or 99% of their raw materials come actually from India as opposed to being shipped in. So basically the main issue that they ended up having was that McDonald's decided not to sell beef or pork for that matter, and so they basically needed to change the Indian perception of McDonald's, which is a hamburger, and have them look at McDonald's as offering some sort of alternative. And so basically the way that they did that was with the chicken Maharaja, which is basically a Big Mac but chicken, and then the Mikalu Tiki, which is a vegetarian option, and that one is made from a potato patty, so that was for all the vegetarians. And then also what they ended up doing was they separated the cooking lines from vegetarian and non-vegetarian and made it with the vegetarian would wear green aprons and everything so that the vegetarian consumers could actually see that these were completely separate, since they are very afraid of it even being contaminated or touching it or anything. So one last thing that they did was they also targeted, because of the eating habits of the Indian people revolve around family a lot, they marketed their stores as these family restaurants, and they also targeted the children in middle and upper class because McDonald's was seen as a little bit expensive, and enticed kids with this Happy Meal and with Ronald McDonald, and so that because kids have such a huge influence over their parents, then that they were able, if the parents wanted to take their children out to dinner, then they could think, oh, okay, I will bring my children to McDonald's where it is a fun environment and the children have a place to be and we can be communal and everything like that. Now the success.
So now we're going to talk about a little bit of the success story. So why was McDonald's so successful? We've already touched upon quite a few of the topics already. So as you can see, the sales chart over here. So basically, it's not been path-breaking for any company to go into a new country and offer new products in their product line. But what McDonald's did that was amazing was they were willing to change their core product, which is their quintessential beef burger in India, and they don't offer any beef or pork products. So they didn't come in with that whole approach of one size fits all kind of attitude. They actually came in to innovate and fit in with the local culture. Another thing that they did after a few years after they entered the market was touch upon the price point. So like Chinese customers, Indian consumers are also very price sensitive. So they try to price their burgers and their meals. So basically, if you can see, I mean, so $1 is equal to 60 rupees, 60 Indian rupees. So if you actually see the Mek Aloo Tikki or the veg surprise, it's basically 20 cents, which is amazing. Another thing that it gets over in 3 bites, but they have a lot of other, the Mek Chicken Burger, which is approximately $1, which has been amazing because there's so many students, young families. It's targeted to a lot of, like when we were in college, we would bunk class and sit there and, you know, chat over burgers and fries. Another good thing that they did was their advertising and their marketing was excellent. So they targeted not just only the youngsters who are so open to globalization and so open to, you know, the American culture, pop culture and things like that, but they also, like Shannon was mentioning, they also made it into a whole family restaurant. So they targeted a lot of kids between the age of 4 to about 10. So they actually pushed a lot of their parents to come into McDonald's. Like when we were kids, a lot of my friends' birthday parties were actually held in McDonald's. So we'd have Ronald McDonald, you know, play games with us, and you'll have like a whole play den area and things like that. And also the Happy Meal with the toy basically was characterized after a very popular cartoon character. So if it was Ice Age that released, or if it was a Disney movie that released, they'd have Happy Meal toys based on those characters. Another good thing that they actually did, which brought them a lot of success in the later years because they faced a lot of competition from Domino's, from Pizza Hut, which is basically home delivery, and a lot of restaurants in India is basically home delivery, free home delivery service. So McDonald's also started with that. They actually had a home delivery service, so you call up one of their helplines, and no matter where you were in the city, the nearest McDonald's would actually deliver their burgers or fries or whatever to you. And that's about it, but we'd like to show you a clip, an advertising clip, it's just about 30 seconds, but yeah, McDonald's in India is really big because of their advertising and marketing strategy.
क्यों? क्योंकि गर्लफ्रेंड बहुत डिमांडिंग होती है, मुझे ये चाहिए, मुझे वो चाहिए, जमता नहीं। पर मुझे तो सिर्फ मैक आलू टिक्की चाहिए। ऐसा क्या? तो फिर ठीक है।
शुक्र है, मैक आलू टिक्की है, सिर्फ 25 रुपए में।
I was wondering if like, when you were conducting this research, did you find something regarding the McDonald's cafe? If they are trying to perhaps open up McDonald's tea, I don't know if it's more popular in there.
They have the Georgia coffee, which is really popular at McDonald's, but they really don't serve tea as such. I mean, no Indian would go to McDonald's and drink tea because you consider it as a very American brand. So you would not really want to drink tea in McDonald's. You would have tea everywhere else. And basically, people who go to McDonald's to have a burger or Coke or something of that sort, not tea.
I took a picture last week. So in China, actually, there is different. In China, the McDonald's, there's Mac Cafe.
Yeah.
In China, the McDonald's opened. There is a corner that they provide the beverage and the coffee and some drinks. So it's changed. In China, when you are shopping, when you eat or drink in McDonald's is a fashion thing among the young people. So quality is also very different in China. How to manage the Chinese people, the culture and the consumer behavior.
But yeah, McDonald's is trying to come up with the McCafe in India because like everywhere else they're doing it. So I think it's their plan of the global rollout. Plus they're facing a lot of competition from Starbucks and Costa Coffee, where people would rather go there and hang out rather than hang out at McDonald's. So yeah.
So a quick comment and a question. My comment is, with an 8-year-old in my household, I'm really tired of McDonald's, and I would love to see some of those items on the menu just so that there'd be a change. And then the question is, in your research, do you see anything about the quality or the health value or difference in the two menus? Because just looking at the menu, this seems to look a little bit healthier than the one that we might get in China or in Seattle for that.
Actually, when McDonald's was coming to India, they had a lot of activists and a lot of people from NGOs that said that, American culture it's all about fast food, so it's so unhealthy because Indians like eating. If you do go out and eat, which is like more like a family occasion, but if you do eat at home, it's more healthier. So they did have those kind of reactions. But at the same time, yeah, it is still pretty much junk food and fast food. So even if you look at the Mac aloo tikki or whatever, it is fried at the end of the day, and your fries are fried. So they are a bit unhealthy, and we do have these activists who keep popping up every now and then.
Kids everywhere love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jose?
Yeah, sorry. Do you think that they target like the young people in India? Because I don't know, for instance, I don't know how it's like the religious for people. Perhaps the elder people would think like they are supporting a company that all around the world they kill the cows and kill that, but here they're not doing it. But it's still right. You're supporting them. How they manage
Well,
that? I don't know.
I mean, nobody thinks that far, I think. People still go and eat there. A lot of youngsters hang out there, eat there after college, in between classes. So, yeah, I mean, irony of it is India is one of the largest exporters of beef in the world. So we don't eat it. We send it out to other people. But yeah, I mean, your parents won't stop you because they know that you're not getting any beef products in McDonald's. And they've also, like, for people who are pure vegetarians, they have a separate cooking station, cooking lines like Shannon had said. And when you go to McDonald's, you can also actually see their kitchen area. So they make it very transparent, so people don't have any doubts as such.
Just a reflection about India compared to China, like this McDonald's coming to India being really tailor-made as opposed to coming to China where they had the one size fits all. And why? It didn't work here because they were run by KFC.
Yeah.
Had a good concept in India, but that concept
They did a lot of research, where Shannon was saying they took a couple of years before they entered because they did a lot of in-depth market analysis and research. They were initially a bit reluctant to come in the beginning, early 90s, because the economy wasn't so open at that time. But they realized that there's a big middle class, and of course thanks to globalization they realized that they were going to... Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's also because Burger King is actually entering India, and
This weekend.
yeah, and they're actually following McDonald's way of Indianizing the menu. So McDonald's actually like started that to enter India, but I think it's the whole, like, if a majority of people aren't eating your main product, then you need to do something.
One other point here that's interesting, and that is that with these kinds of companies, in their home market, if you can say home market, they have saturated it.
Yeah.
And so there's a real push, whether it's North America, Europe, or just North America, they've gotten to the point where they're just very small incremental moves up with a lot of effort. And so even though that they localize, they're going to come to China or to India, or for that matter to Africa, because it's an opportunity to expand their overall global growth for the company. So great presentation. We have now 45 minutes to the end of class, and I think we still have 3 groups. So let's pay attention to time. Next group, please.